Of this make we're making here, and today we're going to be continuing on where we left off for the past couple of days. We're going to be making, or continuing making, the doagon, which is from the picture that you voted for in the first week of You Vote I Draw. We're now on to our You Vote I Make, and here we go with what we made already. I've changed the camera around because I know that it's certain things you couldn't see. I'm not live on TikTok today because I just don't really feel up to doing TikTok and YouTube today. So I'm just going to be sort of going through the works as always. Good, but I'm going to be making the ears today, and I'm going to be making the tail today. And then we should be finished and ready to paint. Obviously, I've got a baking thing, so the painting won't be today. And I got a feeling that I'm going to be doing the painting off stream just because I just want to get it done and get it looking good. And I'm sort of stressing out a little bit when I'm doing the live streams, and so I can spend more time on it as well, because an hour just isn't sometimes just isn't enough to get things done. And 2 hours when I'm doing it live does stress me out a little bit. So yeah, we're going to be continuing on where we left off from last time. Hopefully you can see it a lot better today as I've changed the camera around again. But that's where we got to. We've done all the head, and that was done yesterday. If you've missed anything, you can still go and check it out because live streams are available up on the channel for you guys to check out. But what do you think of the what are they called? These pieces here. What are they called? I want to call them tiles every time. The what is it called? Well, it's a dog dragon. So it's scales. Yeah, I did sort of scales. They're looking a bit furry. But once I've painted them, I think it'll look a lot better. Obviously, got to do a little bit to the back here, but we're going to be doing the ears today and the tail, and we should be done. We should be completely finished. And if you don't remember, this is a nail varnish holder. So it's like a novelty item that if you were so inclined to want or buy, it has nail varnish already in there. So this one's ready to go. But if you have a particular colour that you would like, let me know in the comments, and I'll get those colours in and make one if you're interested to purchase. I haven't got a website yet, so the best way to get hold of me is on you can get hold of me on TikTok in the private personal messages, and you can also get hold of me over on Instagram. Same name, different place, Bloot084. But as always, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to pretty much not say much at all today. I'm just going to be getting on with it because I just want to get it done. That is another reason why I'm a little bit late today, because I kind of been like, should I go live today? Am I feeling okay to actually do a live stream today? I'm feeling okay to do a live stream today, but to make things a little bit more comfortable myself, instead of just listening to music, I'm going to be listening to Comic Storian. If you have been a long time fan, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Comic Storian, and you can listen to comics and you sort of relax and listen to a book as we go along. If you've got any books or comics that you would like me to listen to, I'm guarantee that I'll be able to find it on Comic Storian, so let them come in. Otherwise, enjoy today's stream, and we'll get on where we left off from yesterday.
Today we're going to bring you another massive storyline right here at Comic Storian. We're going to tell you the story of Brian Michael Bendis' Guardians of the Galaxy. You see, when the first movie came out, Brian Michael Bendis started a new comic book line featuring the movie version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Over the course of like 4 to 7 years, somewhere in there, I know, a very large gap, we've had multiple storylines from new origins for Star-Lord.
Let's take my rings off because I can't do anything without my rings on.
And we've also had various other tales of the Guardians coming together, fighting against things, even Peter Quill becoming an emperor. Well, we're going to take all of those videos that we did because they do tell one giant story.
If you can hear that, let me know. If you can't hear that, the only way I will know you can't hear it is by letting me know in the comments.
And don't forget, this was done
If you can't comment, the best way to do is make yourself an account, and that's how you can comment. If you can't do that, then that means probably you're too young to have an account. But hopefully you will enjoy what we're doing, because I do this for younger viewers, older viewers, and whoever may want to know how to use polymer clay. That's why I do it, not for any kind of like reason other than I like to share what I can make.
Into a prison. We really don't know why, but the guards, they were messing with it. Just I am Groot over.
Please let me know if you can hear that in the background, because it is there to entertain you while I get on with what I'm making. Same as the music when I listen to it.
He says sadly, knowing where this is going. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Introduce yourself. The guard tases him again. I'm sorry, I have a bad memory. What's your... And as he tases him again, Groot has had enough. And he breaks out of his cuffs screaming, I am Groot! He then slams both guards against the wall, and he grabs the one that was tasing him by the head. I am Groot! Throwing the guard on the ground, he says over and over again, I am Groot! I am Groot! I am Groot! Two other guards come over, and they throw Groot to the ground. Time for the pit. Throw him in with the other problem child. Groot gets thrown into the cell, and he just lays there. He doesn't want to get up. He doesn't want to fight. Until someone in the corner says to him, so what are you in for? Groot looks up to see a raccoon in a prison outfit.
Using a bit of tinfoil to strengthen the ears a little bit to keep him propped up.
What'd you do?
Just going to work out how big I'm going to need them though.
Rocket looks at him all funny.
I want to be nice and big, but I want them to be sticking out so they actually sort of, so the head still spins, you know what I mean? The tongue was a bit too big and that's already snapped. I don't want the ears to be falling off as you try and undo it.
They end up going around together, and at the cafeteria, Rocket has had enough, and he tells Groot to back off. I don't want any friends.
Ears are nice and easy to shape.
Groot says, confused. Oh, are you? I didn't catch it the first 2,000 flarkin' times you said it. Nobody understands what you're saying. So do us all a favor and shut up and stay off my side. And that's what Groot did. He ignored Rocket and he left him alone. But way later, the guards that Groot injured were torturing him again, asking for his name. When things changed, Rocket yelled out, hey! I think you got his name when he put you and your friend in the infirmary a month ago. Touch him again and he won't even make it there. Groot gets up and he stands next to his new friend, smiling. Stop looking at me like that. So they got to walk away from the guards, and Groot returned the favor by growing trees and a small bed for Rocket in their...
We are going to be using sharp things, so if you're a younger viewer, please ask permission before you go and grab a knife. Otherwise, use plastic tools like these.
Walked in again. The lights won't be on for a few seconds. Plenty of time to teach you two a lesson. And Groot leaped in, yelling, I am Groot!
Conditioning the clay, but you should know by now that I use Fimo, and it's Fimo soft, so there's no need to condition it at all, put it through any kind of pasta maker or anything like that. You can just literally make it soft by rubbing it in your hands and warming it up a little bit. Make a sausage, fold it over, continue that process until it's soft in your hands, just like plasticine. Not Play-Doh. Play-Doh's too soft.
With that,
I think it's a branded thing anyway.
They went on many crazy adventures, and they made other friends in the form of Star-Lord, Drax, and Gamora. And no matter what happened, they did it together. Peter Quill was 10 years old when he saw his first alien. The experience was not a very good one, as he watched his mother give her life in order to save his. So 8 years later, what did Peter want to do? Go into space. As Peter sits in the cockpit of a ship, warnings begin to blare that the enemy ships are closing in, and he shouts that he knows already. Peter goes through the controls, saying that it's high on heat but low on compression. Ions are up, but the deuterium is down. What else do you need? The onboard computer says that it is sorry. It cannot answer that question. And Peter says, fine, engage thrusters. Explosions begin to go off, and the computer says, fatality. Then another voice shouts for Peter to open up. He crawls out of the simulated cockpit, and he tells Freddy that he would have just let him die in space. Freddy says no can do.
I don't think his pieces of tinfoil are going to do anything, so we're just going to stick them on.
Besides, they have 9 ships, all with thruster problems in the hangar that need fixing. And Haywood called out, so he's got to clean the floors too. Peter sighs while pushing the vacuum, thinking about how this is a great ship in all of her glory. But all of Peter's hard work is one day going to pay off. He's going to be able to fly the greatest ship known to mankind, the Astron 1, and become the greatest astronaut ever known. It's just at the current moment, no one knows it. Peter stares at the Astron, and another cadet shouts that it's coming, and a few seconds later, the Kree Warbird shoots by. The Warbird is a ship that the Avengers had donated to the space program after their last adventure in space, and no one's been able to learn its faster-than-light warp drive. Once the Warbird lands, another cadet by the name of Hastings jumps out shouting that she did everything, and it still won't jump. All it does is stall. A few of the other engineers go over the data trying to figure it out, but the other cadet, Isaac, says that it's obvious. They need to drop the hammer and push it harder. Force the warp drive to wake up. Across the room, Peter says that that's a dumb idea. If the ship's stalling, they shouldn't push her harder. What they should be doing is cutting the thrusters to free up the faster-than-light drive, and boom! Warp speed! Everyone stares at Peter, and Isaac says that that's the dumbest thing he's ever heard. Going slower is the opposite goal of a warp drive. Peter steps up shouting that it's a precision instrument, and they're driving her like a sledgehammer. And Isaac shouts at him to get back to vacuuming. Let the real pilots handle this one. One of the engineers steps up between them and yells at both of them to just get back to their work. Isaac, go run a flight plan. Mechanic, do whatever it is you do. Isaac laughs, saying that that's right, Grease Monkey. You don't have what it takes to be an astronaut. And Peter's response? Well, he cracked Isaac across the face. Later, Commander Lisa Chang calls Peter into the Astron to discuss Peter's later run-in. He says that he asked for it, and Lisa tells him that she's referring to the hundreds of unauthorized hours in the simulators. He lights up, telling her, "My flying's pretty slick, huh? Do I get a job or what?" And she sighs, telling him no, he definitely does not get a job. The Astron will be going on a mission to colonize another planet. They have no room for wildcards. Her and his mother were like sisters, which is why she helped him out with getting this mechanic job. But this, she can't shield him from it any longer. Therefore, he is hereby discharged from the Astron 1 program. Pack up and report for reassignment. Peter tries to say, but just look at my flying! But Lisa stops him, shouting that he doesn't understand what it means to be an astronaut. What would his mother have said about all of this? Peter turns, hitting a box of parts, and he takes the Astron 1 external bolt, hatch wrench, and he runs to his room. While packing up, he looks down at the Badoon ship that came to Earth, and then the picture of him and his mother and Lisa when he was younger. Peter smiles, remembering something that his mother once said. Pick a high target and you're gonna hit it. So a short while later, back on the Astron bridge, Lisa asks herself, where did she go wrong with Peter? And then there's an emergency call about an unauthorized launch. The Kree Warbird rockets into the air and Peter shouts, "Yo!" Lisa radios to the Warbird, yelling to Peter that they will shoot him down, but Peter continues to fly. Hastings and Isaac follow closely behind, prepared to fire, and once the lasers are shot, Peter starts to hit the controls. Lisa radios that he needs to stop this, but Peter looks through the system, telling her that he's high on heat, low on compression, ions up, what else do you need? Peter then cuts the thrusters, and Hastings calls out that he's slowing down. They should be able to hit, but then light surrounds the Warbird, and seconds later, the ship disappears. Back on the bridge, Lisa shouts that he did it. The warp drive is online. They have the data for the Astron. And out in space, Peter shouts, "Suck it, everyone! I'm in space!" Except, the Warbird stalls and loses all of its power. Peter tries to access the controls, but with no response. Peter starts hitting it, and he tells himself, great, I just got into space and now I'm blowing it. 3 days later, while floating around in space, Peter gets to work trying to fix whatever it is that went wrong when a voice over the radio says that it looks like he's having mechanical problems. Peter looks around and says, holy crap, yes, this is Peter Quill. Thank you. I never thought I was going to be rescued up here. The voice tells him that they're not here to rescue him. They're pirates. They steal things, so prepare to be boarded. A few moments later, the Warbird is brought aboard a giant pirate ship. And the aliens surround the ship, and a voice says to not give them any trouble. They just want the ships. And then they'll be on their merry way. The leader steps on board with another shouting that he's about to be robbed by Yondu and the Ravagers. The Ravagers look around and they find nothing, and Yondu notices a compartment open and shouts, you better hurry and climb out of the ship's guts before I drag you out by your eyeballs. Peter thinks about it for a second and then he realizes he has a plan. He climbs out of the bottom of the ship and then he crosses the wires to simulate a radiation leak, which would mean suddenly the doors on the ship shut, trapping everyone on board of the Warbird. Everyone inside shouts, what the heck is going on? And then they feel a rumble. Back in the holding bay, Peter drives a crane pushing the Warbird back into space, and he yells, walk the plank, suckers! As the Warbird floats on, Peter then shouts that this ship is now the property of Peter Quill, king of all pirates! 1, 2, 3, 4! That is until Yondu tackles him to the ground. Yondu yells that he's going to pull out his lung. And that's when Peter pulls the trigger on the gun that he had taken from home. The giant laser fires and Yondu grabs his arm yelling, that for track can hurt. Peter runs off into the air vents trying to come up with another plan while Yondu goes back to searching. Yondu continues to shout that there's this his ship. I can hear where you're going. There's no way that you could steal my ship. Yondu then heads into the treasure room and Peter thinks that he could use this to his advantage. What do pirates love more than anything? Treasure, loot, booty, just got to. But as Yondu walks in, he sees Peter's helmet and he charges after him. He then stops when he sees that it's just a helmet on a stick. Suddenly, the giant gold statue next to him starts to creak as it tips over and crushes him. A short while later, Yondu begins to wake up and he looks at his now bandaged arm, stating that that was stupid of him. He then turns back to see Peter at the controls, and Peter asks, how exactly do I fly my new ship? Yondu tells him that this isn't your ship. And Peter said, that's fine, I'll figure it out in a few minutes. Don't be a sore loser about it. As Peter continues to work the panel, Yondu begins to pick up the cuffs and he sneaks on Peter, banging the helmet with a gun. Yondu then says, you really thought you could take me prisoner with my handcuffs? Think again, you holy flarkanards, you're a kid! Peter sticks the gun into Yondu's stomach, telling him, I'm a kid with a gun. Yondu pushes the gun to Peter's head, telling him that he's keel-hauled men more decent than him for less. So here's the deal. I'm going to take what we want from your ship, and then I'm going to let you drift out in space. Put your fate into the hands of the stars. Peter says that's a stupid deal. How about he lets him stay with them as a member of his crew? I trapped your friends, stole your ship, found your treasure, and almost got away with it. Yondu tells him that he's just a dirt-poor boy from Earth. Not worth a damn here. Peter shouts, come on! That ship you stole? I stole it first, and I killed my first alien when I was 10, proving to the people who told me that I couldn't make it to space wrong. Peter's eyes begin to water, and he says, please, I have nowhere else to go. A little while later, once all of the Ravagers are back on board...
We are trying to put the plates the same as the ears there. Give it a bit of a fluffy sort of look on the end. He's got hair on the end of the ear there.
But while Peter pushes the Star-Lord Huvvac around,
the same thing on the back.
This is his new job for now. Because if these aliens could be
Again, with paint, it'll cover up a word of hurt. But that's basically the ear, and it's nice and big. Exactly the way I wanted it.
Yondu notices Peter holding a picture, and when he looks at it, he says that it must be the Badoon ship that he's looking for. The one that he asked if they could find 100 times. Peter laughs, asking, what if I asked you 101 times? And Yondu asks him, what would you even do if you found them? Peter says that he would shoot it out of the sky, throw it into the sun, pee on the ashes, and dance on their grave. Yondu tells him that that's the thing about space. It ain't complicated. It's all about the big nothing out there with the occasional thing of interest. Steal one thing, avoid another. That's the big secret to space. Peter then takes out the picture of his mother, saying that he's looking for that ship because of... Here. The other woman is Lisa Chang, who became a commander. But she would never have gotten the 4 warp drives operational if it wasn't for him. And Yondu stops, asking, unearthed their ship with 4 warp drives? Peter laughs, telling him, hell yeah! Reverse engineered them from the Kree. I was the one who cracked it. I know all of the ins and outs and all of the secrets. So maybe I would be a better mechanic than a janitor. Or maybe even a pirate. Yondu tells him, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe you do have what it takes to be a pirate. So how about I take you out and see what kind of trouble we can make? Later, down on an alien planet, the alien jock and his muscle hands gun to Yondu and Peter, telling them that the last time someone...
I'm going to need something to hold that up. Give me a second while I find a pen or something. Or I could leave that till a minute or two. Actually, I think I'll leave that off. Work this one first and get it looking similar.
What is that? But Yondu takes Jock's gun, telling him, that's enough. We're not here to pull one over on you. Jock starts running, shouting, I knew this was a setup! And as Jock goes to jump off a ledge, Yondu grabs Peter and he jumps off. Everyone lands on a passing trans car, and Jock starts jumping from car to car.
I'm going to need like a pencil to prop the ears up, but by doing that I can have it propped away from the body as well. Otherwise I could just have them flopping down. I don't really want them touching the body, because I have no tinfoil to cover up the two, so they will end up blending and mixing together.
To get back up, Jock makes a break for it and escapes, but soon after, Yondu jumps down shouting, you idiot! Peter then pulls out a gem telling him, yeah, he escaped, but I did manage to swipe this. So did I do good? Yondu grabs the gem, telling him, you did better than good. This is the beginning of great things. So from there on out, Peter went to living the life of a space pirate, getting into
Let's see if I can find a pencil to break up.
Women, and even entering brawls and winning them. However,
What
Peter isn't seeing is that these adventures are being staged. One night during karaoke, Yondu tells everyone that he would like to make a toast to their newest and greatest member, PD. It's time that they make it official, so they decided to make him a full-time Ravager. How about that? Peter asks if he really means it, and Yondu says, as serious as a scrawl. I even got you a little gift. Yondu holds out a tracking gem that shows a picture of the Badoon ship that Peter's been looking for. Peter says that he doesn't know what to say, and Yondu tells him that there's one small thing that we want to return, and that's the Astron 1. The Astron recently flew by a probe drone, so we're gonna take it. Peter tells him no.
That should be all you need. I haven't got any cocktail sticks.
Back, telling him, you're one of us, right? Besides, you said it yourself. All those people said you couldn't cut it. So, it'll be a ship for a ship. You get the Badoon ship, we get the Astron. So,
cocktail sticks would work, but I think they'd be too high up.
Peter tells himself, alright,
too low even.
Can't blow this.
You know what I mean.
Preparations are set, Peter and the pirates make their way over to where the Astron is flying, and Peter sneaks in. But as he does, he thinks to himself that this is what he's become. A traitor to 7 billion people on Earth. No pressure or anything. He quietly moves through the ship until he gets to one of the access terminals and begins to disable the shields. But as he does, someone shouts for him to halt. He turns back, pointing his gun, to see the worst person that he could have run into. Lisa. Lisa shouts that whoever he is, lower his weapon and remove his mask. Peter listens, but then Lisa gets a call saying that they are being boarded by pirates. So she grabs Peter, asking who's hijacking her ship. Over the radio, Yondu announces that everyone just needs to relax. You're currently being boarded by the Ravagers. Once everyone has moved to the bridge, Yondu tells Lisa that so long as they surrender their ship, he can guarantee the lives of her crew. Fair? She tells him no, she won't accept that, so he shouts, all right, we're going to be taking your warp drives and leaving you to drift. Your face will be in the hands of the stars, high and dry. That's the pirate way. He then grabs Peter, telling him, cheer up, don't forget, your biggest wish is about to come true. Peter smacks his hand away, telling him, yeah, as if you really cared. Yondu angrily tells him, this job isn't over yet, so I need you to pull it together. Now go wave your gun before I leave you high and dry. Peter points his gun at Hastings and Isaac comments that he probably isn't so tough without his gun. In fact, he probably couldn't hack in his space, so he just has to steal someone else's ship. Probably doesn't even know how to fly this thing. Peter grabs Isaac by the throat, shouting that he's a better pilot than he would ever be. But during this struggle, Hastings runs up and punches Peter, and his mask begins to short out. The Astron crew stares at Peter Quill, saying, no way. And Yondu shouts, that is enough! This changes nothing! Now everyone sit down before the commander gets it! Peter grabs Yondu, telling him not to hurt her or he will, but Yondu asks, what? Polish the deck? You're just a janitor, so you better know your place. Hastings shouts for Isaac to hit the warp, but Yondu punches her in the stomach, telling her, look, I'm trying to be a nice guy here, but I will not hesitate to kill each and every one of you. Just as Yondu begins to calm down, one of the Ravagers shouts that Peter is gone. Meanwhile, on the connecting tube back to the Ravager's ship, Peter leads Lisa, telling her that they need to hurry. Lisa stops him and hugs him.
There's another reason why I did the face first instead of doing
Stops her, telling her no, they're going to steal the pirate
it afterwards, so I could get the ears on without messing the face up or the head, because if I was pushing that now, all of that I'd made yesterday would be squashed and I would have ruined everything just by doing that and getting the ear on. All of that part of that face would be pushed in, and that's not something I wanted to do.
She promised his mother to keep him safe, so please don't do this. And he shouts, no way! She was my mother, and I'll do whatever it takes to bring the ones who killed her down. Lisa turns back, telling him that it doesn't matter. She isn't leaving her crew, so come with her and they can fix this. Peter stops and tells her that they're going to kill her, so please think of her own life. She stands there asking if he's asking her to consider her life over the lives of her crew. Well, she's an astronaut, so what is he? A short while later, one of the Ravagers throws Lisa back in with the rest of the crew, and the engineer asks, where is Peter hiding? Is he planning a sneak attack? And she tells him no. Peter's running away. Another Ravager says that they couldn't find him, and Yondu notices the tracking gem is gone. He shouts that he must be on their ship. They've been looking.
If you're lacking tools, you can go in, if you've got like a Play-Doh set, they work exactly the same. So if you've got kids, if you're a kid yourself, be mindful that you don't always have to have the professional stuff. I mean, this isn't professional, but it's better than nothing, you know what I mean? So you can even use pencils, you can even use your nails.
Once it's all done, he heads back to the cargo bay and tells himself that he has one shot at this. He can launch himself back over to the Astron, and it's just a simple.
You're a creator, be creative with whatever you've got.
Hoverback, now strapped with two small rockets, and he flips a switch. The thrusters light up and they take off towards the Astron. And as he flies through space, there's a tug at his leg. Yondu is punching him, and he headbutts Peter, but Peter manages to kick him off. He grabs onto the hoverback and he looks back, wondering why Yondu is smiling. Oh, it's because he has the tracking gem. Peter gives the
If you're wondering why there's no TikTok stream today, it's because I wasn't, and I haven't joined me from the beginning. Yeah, I'm not really feeling up to doing TikTok today. So I thought I'd just come here live and do the normal old thing of what I'm doing now.
I'm done. Let's go back to the Astron. As some time passes, the Astron reached a planet Zervis, and it began its next permanent colonization. And Lisa says that she's got to hand it to him. They couldn't have done it without him, so she's sorry that she kicked him off the mission. Peter says that he's actually sorry for what he said about his mom. And Lisa stops him, telling him it's okay. She stopped grieving and being angry. That's when she first started planning this mission. She then asks if he's sure that he won't be staying, and Peter says not to worry about it. He's going to visit. Two of them hug, and Lisa asks, where is Star-Lord off to now? Peter says that it's a big galaxy. He's going to go find out what it has in store for him. He was an okay astronaut at best, and kind of a ridiculous pirate. But together he's become something even better. He's become the legendary Star-Lord.
Again, if you want to find these comics for yourself, it's Comic Story, and they do giant stories. They sometimes just do single episodes or single issues of comics, but always something to listen to daily. They do show you the actual comic as they go as long as well.
They came for one thing.
So it's worth checking them out.
That Peter hid there a while ago. And since there's also a bounty on Peter's head conveniently right now, the Badoon are going to get a 2-for-1 deal. They haul Peter to their ship, where the Badoon explains that the evil villain Mr. Knife is the one that is after Peter Quill and any weird weapons that the Badoon happen to come across. Apparently, he's gunning for Earth for some reason. They then leave Peter alone in the cell after knocking him out. When he comes to, he kicks off the communicator that he's hidden in his boot, and he dials up the greatest girl in the galaxy, Kitty Pryde. He calls to make sure that Earth is okay, because if Mr. Knife is gunning for Earth, did he miss something? And once he finds out it is, they have a little bit of small talk until the guard comes down to see who Peter's talking to. Kitty snaps. Are you calling me for prison? But the guard walks in and Peter introduces them. Kitty, meet Thumbnail. Thumbnail, meet Kitty. Thumbnail hate cutie talk. So Peter jumps up, blasting Thumbnail with his rocket boots, throwing him out of the cell. He then makes his way out of the jail cell and through the ship, where he grabs the Mandalay gem and blows a hole in the side of the ship, before making his epic getaway into space using his face mask. He then travels back to Earth, where he drops off his life savings with the orphanage. He didn't tell them that it was his, he told them that he sold the Mandalay gem, but he had to make it up to them. He then takes off for space, devising his next plan, only to be stopped by another ship. A woman gets out of this one and demands that he come with them, by the order of Captain Victoria, the daughter of the former Emperor Jason Spartax. Wait, Peter thinks, I have a sister? You see, Peter is also the son of Jason of Spartax. She brings him onto their ship, where once again he finds himself in handcuffs. There is a mighty bounty on Peter's head, and she intends to collect on it for the sake of Spartax. Peter tries to play the family card, which honestly didn't work too well, so then he convinces her to go along with a plan of his by convincing her that there's more money to be made with his plan than turning him in. So Victoria brings Peter to the bounty hunter, and they prepare to turn him in. But just when she's about to collect her reward, she betrays the guards, and Peter breaks his cuffs, grabbing the bounty guy hostage. Peter then tells them to transfer all of the money that's in the vault into his account, while the rest of the Vinderdoom guards are a tad unhappy that they're about to be out of a job, and they open fire on Peter and Victoria. Epic maneuvers happen, and the two of them manage to get off of the planet, and as they prepare to leave, Peter leaves his sister with all of their earnings. She'll use it for the good of their people, the people of Spartax. But she asks him, why leave it all? And why does he seem to have a death wish? So Peter finally explains what he's doing. You see, Peter was trapped in the Cancerverse with Richard Rider and Thanos. When he and Thanos got out, they made a pact not to fight each other for a while, and that was Peter's mistake. Thanos has been running free out there, making problems and killing thousands, and he feels that he is to blame because he can't stop Thanos. So he doesn't want the money that they just earned. He's gonna go after Thanos. He assumes that he won't be back. After leaving his sister and her wishing him luck, he went to a bar where a pretty lady tased him to bring him in for the bounty that the Badoon have on him again. This time, his cellmates are a spy from the Spartax Empire that got caught, and a little Badoon child that just won't talk. So Peter calls up Kitty Pryde again, and her first comment is, "You're calling me from jail again?" Yeah, never mind that. I need a distraction. Can you do something in the lingerie department? Dream on, spaceman. Okay, how about something scary? So Kitty Pryde gets into the scariest outfit she can find. A giant banana suit, and she screams, "Ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka." The guard rushes into the room terrified, and Peter takes his gun with a yoink and knocks him out. The three prisoners run into the ship, and the spy tells Peter that he'll see him later.
I'm gonna make the tail first. Unless I'm gonna be trying to go around the ears, and it's just gonna annoy me.
Peter's favor as the child points to a sewer chute as their escape, and they slide down to freedom. Well, not freedom. It shoots them into the starport, where Peter falls
To give it more of a plated look,
the bad boy. They both run onto the ship, and
making sure there's gaps between each piece, so it's like more of a
Peter asks if they have enough fuel to make a break
thing.
Lydia tells them only if they can play Aquabats as they go. He answers with, "Only if I can
I'm gonna
say
move those to the
every
side.
word." Okay, I kind of like you now, but I only have enough juice for 2 people. And that's when behind them, Peter and the Badoons see that...
Not exactly the same, but it will look okay when it says on there.
Peter, let's get out of here. Peter and the Badoon child both look at the spy, and then they kick him off the ship singing, "We were super rad!"
Make the tail now.
He then drops off the Badoon child at the orphanage, asking them to watch him, and then he gets back onto the ship with some alone time with Kitty Pryde on the hologram collar, until Lydia reports that she has found what Peter is looking for. With this ship and the Mandalay gem, Peter is taking this fight to Earth right there. Kitty gets all excited. "You're coming for a visit, Peter?" "Yes, but this isn't a vacation. It's something I need to handle, Kitty." Furious, she hangs up on him, calling him a dumbass. But Peter knows she'll understand. This is Thanos. He needs to finish what he started in the Cancerverse. On Earth's moon, Thanos is building a monument to his love, death. But Peter Quill comes rocketing in full force, and he slams Thanos into the planet, knocking him back. Quill, you're late. Our truce has been up for quite some time. And you've been busy doing some bad things. Very bad things. Thanos things. I'm surprised that you're surprised. You really went to town while my hands are tied, didn't you, Thanos? Well, the party's over. Oh, is it? Thanos says as he blasts the spot Peter was standing at. But Peter has a secret weapon, the Mandalay Gem, and it's granting him insane amounts of power as he rockets through the explosion to Thanos' surprise. You got it, big boy, and I'm gonna make you pay for everything you did. Thanos grabs Peter by the back of the head and he slams him into his knee, causing Peter's nose to bleed. Ouch! My nose! My mother gave me this nose! They go back and forth for a few seconds until Thanos grabs the gem off of Peter's chest. This gem is celestial technology. You have no idea what you are doing. But he reels back in pain as the crystal refuses to leave Peter. I don't know, Thanos. You tell me. Does it feel like I know what I'm doing? And he bombards Thanos with the power of the gem. He then leaps onto Thanos, ready to finish this. And Thanos grins. If you destroy me here, this moon will be destroyed. And if this moon dies, the Earth dies. Will you make the Earth pay for the price of your guilt? Peter stands up, and he walks away. Sit tight while I call the Avengers, and we'll figure out what to do with you. By the time they get here, I'll be gone. Either they won't believe you, or they'll chastise you for letting me get away. Again. Heed my counsel, coward. Give up your vengeance. You have too much milk in your veins. The truce is over for you, but it is also over for me. Beware. And he takes off for space, leaving Peter right there. Lydia flies the ship in close. That was pretty hardcore, Peter. I guess. I'm gonna take Thanos' advice. But there's something I need to do first. Meanwhile on Earth, Kitty is debating if she should end this with Peter. He's cute and all, but he seems so shady. That's when the young Iceman comes running in to tell her that someone wrote a message in the snow.
Fair look.
While Peter still has some things to do, he did take some time to lay some flowers in the snow.
Or at least a
spelling,
bit of hair.
Kitty, I'm sorry. XOXO, dumbass.
Already
It's
working
left
now.
Agent Venom stranded on a very populated planet, alone and scared. The people of this planet kept calling him insane for bonding with a symbiote, calling it a dirty Clintar. After a little time of trying to figure out how he was going to get off of this planet, he lost control, and the Venom symbiote took over. But the Venom symbiote
Thinking maybe doing a Venom series, all the different Venoms. But I'll let you vote on that one. That'll be a vote. Won't be next month because I want to get on with all these animals this month.
So he walks around the planet asking for travel back to Earth. If he can just get back home, everything will be okay.
Because there's
People of Earth come to accept it.
different Venoms, different people have had Venom, shall I say.
He leaves some terrifying
So I'm going to be sort of going through the cycle of it. Maybe I'd do an anti-Venom, maybe do a Carnage,
So he goes back to an alien that
or Agent Venom, or think something along the lines of that.
he asks the man to explain
Something I've never drawn. Right, sorry, that something I've never made, but definitely have drawn. Made that. I did those into.
When suddenly Gamora comes walking into the shop and she sees Agent Venom standing there. Human? The Guardians have been looking all over the galaxy.
I did the made it into a digital picture. If you haven't seen that one's from last year, maybe the year before. No, it was the year before.
She wanted to remove it from Flash Thompson and kill it. But Flash
But it's still up on the channel. Create Station if you can't find it. Creation Station in the playlists.
You've gone mad, she yells back. This is all a trick! You sent me here to die! You sent me into space so you can ruin me! Venom screams out. And Gamora refrains from fighting back. If there's anything left of you, Thompson, speak now. But Venom just growls. I'll kill you all! So Gamora runs at Venom, leaping over it and stabbing him with her staff. But before Venom can react, she yells, now! And just then, Rocket Raccoon shoots a gun out at the symbiote that sucks it up and pulls it off of Flash. As Flash hits the ground now that he's legless again without the symbiote, Gamora turns to the Guardians and asks, what took you so long? You only called us a minute ago, Star-Lord says. I was in the bathroom, Drax says.
Sorry if you couldn't see that.
Grins. As Flash begins to come to his senses
That looks
again,
sort
he
of
asks,
furry.
what happened? Oh,
Wow,
I should have
hair.
never come. I can control the symbiote on Earth. This whole thing of going into space was a bad idea. And then he just passes out. Star-Lord looks at him. Poor guy.
Just give us
I
some
was really starting
texturing.
to feel bad that we lost him. So no one really knows what happened to Flash, and they make a decision to just get him back to Earth. The Guardians did lose him after all. Back on the ship, Groot and Rocket are slightly guarding the vial that Rocket is keeping the symbiote in, and Groot just finds it fascinating. That is, until it breaks out of the vial and it wraps around Groot while Rocket's back is turned. Rocket turns around to see his buddy under the control of the symbiote, and Venom Groot says, "I am Venom!" Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax all see Rocket come running out of the cargo hold, with Venom Groot chasing them, yelling, "I am Venom!" "What's going on?" Star-Lord asks, and Drax runs in and begins swinging, "I have this!" But Groot quickly slams him into the ground and throws him into the ship's controls, turning off the gravity. No one has any idea what to do, with Rocket yelling, "Help Groot! Somebody help Groot!" So Gamora demands Venom release the Wood God, and she will spare him a brutal death. And Rocket just snaps back, "Not like that!" But Star-Lord has this as he fires his guns along with Rocket at Groot. "Sorry, buddy." The Venom symbiote quickly jumps off of Groot, and it begins to look for a new host. And it sees a certain talking raccoon that it would love to be on right now. But Rocket panics and begins to blind fire at the symbiote. Eventually, it does manage to get onto Rocket, though, and it wraps around his arm until we have Venom Rocket Raccoon. He forms a massive gun on his arm, and he turns to Drax and Groot. "Don't come one step closer. Get off my ship. I have business to conduct, and I'll be more than happy if I never see any of you again." And Groot looks at him, simply asking, "I am Groot?" Venom Rocket Raccoon begins disarming the Guardians, but not actually hurting any of them. And then he points his gun at Star-Lord. "You've always done right by me, Quill, so I don't want to hurt you or anyone else. But I need this ship, and I need you and the others to get off." But Drax reaches out to try and grab Venom Rocket Raccoon, so the symbiote in response transfers over to Drax, creating Venom Drax. Well, as you can imagine, no one can face off with Venom
See?
Drax.
Lots of different Venoms.
Eventually wakes up though, and he sees that something is definitely wrong on the ship. He crawls out of the
Pretty much any hero that's got him.
Doesn't have his legs, as it's the
I think pretty much
legs for him. And he sees
every
the entire team
Marvel
unconscious.
character's had Venom on it at some point. There's even a series of, I think Ultimate Venom, where pretty much every single one has one. Worth checking these stories out, guys. King in Black's pretty good.
Know if this is the end of their journey together, but he has come to admire Flash Thompson. And then he leaves Drax's body and he crawls out of the ship. Everyone wakes up.
The new series in the
They're now in an uncharted part of
Venomverse
sector of the galaxy. They've got Venom symbiotes flying all around them, and they're
can't really figure out how I'm going to do plates for the tail, so I'm just going to do this.
After a little contemplation, Flash decides that he's going to present himself.
Again, World of Hurt will be covered up with
while everyone tries to stop him, he eventually gets to
some
one
paint.
of the symbiotes, and he bonds with it. And all Groot can say is, "I am Groot." And Gamora replies with, "What can we do?" But everything's okay, because Flash responds with, "Wow, I was right. They want to talk to us. They don't have mouths or the ability for verbal communication. If you let them temporarily bond with you, they can explain what's going on." The whole team refuses, except for Groot, and he allows it to bond with him. So following his lead, everyone else agrees to bond with the symbiote, hoping that this works out for the best. And the symbiotes explain, "We are the Clintar. We are the mind and soul of the warrior, and we want to spread the true ways of a noble and virtuous galaxy. Like yourselves, we are dedicated to making a great society. To get to this society, we need to find hosts to create a perfect bond to reach our ultimate goal. This means that we need a perfect blend of moral and physical ideals. If we can find that, we can create the ultimate noble warrior. But because we need such a delicate balance, there are few members of very few species that can rise to the occasion. If the balance is even slightly off, it'll create something that is monstrous."
There's a tail. What we're going to do now is stick the ears on. Just going to have a quick sip of my tea.
Once a symbiote becomes corrupt, we break it off from our home world and our hive mind. And without a connection to us, a damaged Clintar
And think about how I'm going to do those ears.
The corrupted Clintar will then try to spread lies and half-truths to further their own agendas, further harming our reputation in the galaxy.
I'll bring the camera down in a minute so you can actually see it.
Can bring true heroism. And that is why we are honored to have Eugene Flash Thompson with us here today. And so we are grateful to you Guardians for bringing him to us. We've been aware of your Agent Venom for quite some time, and we are so happy that throughout their struggles, their bond has made the warrior whole and a planet safer. But since the Venom symbiote only contained a fractured connection to us, it was frightened, and it began to react to its surroundings irrationally. But now that they are here, we can fix and repair the symbiote, and create the perfect warrior that they are supposed to be. Eugene Flash Thompson, you now have new abilities and knowledge that you didn't know you had before, and you have a connection to us finally. You are now a warrior of the galaxy, and you may now leave with our gratitude and blessings. As a thank you, we have cured all of your bodies of their poisons and cancers. Cancers? Who had cancer? Star-Lord asks. So in our short story, the Guardians and Agent Venom all climb back onto their ship, and they all comment about how they feel like $1,000,000. And it's time for them to go find a planet to repair their ship after this whole ordeal. Rocket Raccoon has also made it Flash's job to clean up the ship, since it was his symbiote that made the mess. But before anyone can do anything else, Captain Marvel calls them up to ask Peter if he knows anything about this, because the Spartak Empire is currently broadcasting that Star-Lord is now the new president of their empire. Rocket Raccoon looks at him and he says, "Hey, congrats! And I may have a few things on my record that I'm gonna need you to quietly take care of, buddy." 12 billion years ago, an alien
Make sure it's
known as Darwin
attached
was
properly,
considered
because it will
to
just snap off else.
the limit of their potential. That this was it. They could go no further in her time. But that's when the alien structure her people had worshipped granted her something. A mirror. Which
That's a
would allow
shame. I could have
everyone to
done
see their full
just have them
true
flatten
potential.
like
Question
that.
is, was it a gift?
How
Was it
big
a
am I going to
curse?
need this so
We
it
now
keeps
go
it
to
off the
current day.
ground?
Storm-telling Beast? He's wrong, and he knows it. He broke the laws of space and time by bringing the original 5 X-Men to the present from the past. And while Beast admits that it may have been
Gonna need
wrong,
about there.
can't see the damage that
You can always add a little bit
without
more.
seeing all of space and time. And since he'll never get
Is
to
that
see
going
all
to
of
turn
space
though?
and time,
I don't know. I'm going to do this because obviously I want the.
Jeek shows up with the young X-Men in tow.
I go like
Kitty
that
needs all of
maybe.
us, so let's go.
Might have to
Grabs
have a couple
both Beast and Storm,
sticks
and they warp
holding it
out.
up.
Meanwhile, in space, the Guardians are having
It's going to have to
fun,
clear
and
the
he's cheating as the game master,
body.
until Peter Quill calls up the team to tell them that he needs help. He snuck onto Mr. Knife's starship with Kitty Pryde, and they discovered that Mr. Knife had gotten his hands on the Black Vortex, a gateway to infinite power. Not only that, but he was teaming up with Thane, Thanos' son. Mr. Knife, who, by the way, is Jason of Spartax, Star-Lord's father, was having some of his lackeys touch the mirror, and they were granted amazing powers, becoming his Slaughter Lords. But it's just as Thane was about to submit to its powers that Peter explains that he and Kitty jumped through the floor and they took the mirror with them. And now Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde are having everyone come to planet Spartax, to the orphanage where Star-Lord helps out, so that they can figure out what to do next. The X-Men, the Guardians, and various random helpers all converge to try and figure out what they should do with it. What should they do with the Black Vortex? But it ends with them deciding who will try it first. Gamora volunteers, but Storm tries to tell her no. And Bobby wants to use it to get him to grant him powers of Tony Stark. You know, money powers, or Thor's chin power. Even Captain Marvel argues that maybe they should use it, but Storm defiantly tells everyone...
The ear's going to have an indentation in them, but whatever, that's the only way I can do it.
That's
the only way I can do it.
All of them tells them the Black Vortex is not theirs to destroy. The Slaughter Lords
I'm
have
going to need a
arrived.
pencil because that one will bend when it gets warm. I've tried it before.
And then Gamora leaps in to move towards the
Just get yourself a pencil. Obviously, get one you're not going to use again. Maybe a pair of pliers, or if you've got a strong hand, you can just break it off. And there you go. Got yourself a stick.
Using her new powers, she manages to dodge every attack and injure all of the Slaughter Lords, making her the champion of the fight. Seeing their chance, Storm tells the X-Men to get the heck out of there, and Jean asks if they should take the Black Vortex with them. Bobby enthusiastically says, "Hell yes!" Drax, on the other hand, thinks that perhaps they should smash it and aid their fellow warrior in battle. Star-Lord quickly corrects him. "I think she has it, Drax." And that's because Gamora is literally dropping all of the Slaughter Lords. So Magique does her thing, and she teleports everyone to the moon of Spartax, along with the Black Vortex.
Well, that's baking. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, because it's already moving.
No idea where they all went.
Where's that other piece of pencil gone? Where did I put it?
What should they do?
It's there. Can I put that there and hold it?
The power that Gamora has. Obviously, it works and it's worth it. Star-Lord takes point. All right, let's all line up and power the hell up. And that's when Kitty Pryde eyeballs him. What?
That should stay there.
Use this? Well,
I'm not going to be able to show you until I've brought the camera down.
You actually want to use this on each other.
But I will do that at the end, guys.
begins to reconsider Captain
Or girls, whoever may be watching.
Everything in the galaxy bad? And Drax just votes that they just let him destroy everything because he doesn't even need the vortex. Star-Lord tries to convince Kitty that they need to do this. She doesn't understand the things in space that they deal with. And Gamora
stick it up your
agrees.
ass.
With power, she could finally end Thanos' life. But none of that matters as everyone hears a whoosh and the area fills with a blue light. Oh my stars, declares Beast as he steps out of the vortex. A new person. He could see everything now. Space, time, the connections between them all. And he thinks, now he knows how he can fix everything. He can fix what he broke. The first thing he does is begin his calculations. And Kitty looks at him disappointed. You shouldn't have done this, Henry.
Might have to have him flapping around. I don't think he's going to work as a nail on his shoulder.
Knocking her back. But at that moment, Nova finally catches up. Hey guys, I made it! And then he looks around at everyone looking worried, scared, and angry. What did I miss? Gamora grabs the vortex.
That's a shame.
Size of Beast, as they show
You never know until
everyone
it's
their
finished,
full
though.
potential.
Until it's baked, I mean.
He calls out to his friend, Storm. I wish you would submit. You could see the future without fear. It is within our grasp. Not everyone turns away, though. Seeing his potential, Angel steps forward, and he submits to the vortex. He then walks over with Beast and Gamora, and he tells them he is free. Seeing how cool Angel got, Bobby steps up. Hell yeah, I submit! But Drax gets in the way. No! Back away from the vortex, Oscar the Grouch. I have not begun to unleash the Grouch. Kitty confronts Beast. Remember, it was your job to watch these kids, Hank? None of that matters, Kitty. But then, Beast realizes the vortex is missing. That's because
Just have him in a flappy mode, should we?
Gamora jumps
We'll have him in like
down, and the two begin to battle it out over the vortex. But then Gamora stops.
Hopefully it won't
because she's
bust when I'm baking it.
That it's just Jean messing with her mind. So she furiously jumps at Jean for
I should have put some wire in there, but
Kitty grabs Gamora's cape and Drax carries Jean away, then knocks Gamora out. Control yourself, he tells her. Beast grabs the vortex though, and he tells Gamora to stop. They have the vortex, and they are not responsible for those who refuse.
Once it's hard, it should be okay.
Now the heralds of the new dawn. Beast, Gamora, and Angel all power up and take off into space. And Star-Lord,
okay, let's bring this camera down.
All trying to think of a way to stop them, but they can't. They're too fast in this state.
Because I'm pretty much happy with the way that's turned out. There isn't much more I'm going to be able to do to it. There's nothing else I need to do to it other than paint it now. Obviously bake it and then paint it, but although that ear does look better than that ear, the way it is. They're both going to hopefully clear the body. Well, if I ever do figure out how to get the head to turn. If it doesn't, then I know what to do next time. Put some wire and things in there so I can actually have the ears coming up. I don't have any wire. I don't have any tin foil because, again, I'm an idiot. I actually went to Asda today and forgot to go and buy any. Tin foil is just basically to armature up the thing. But I'm going to turn the oven on quickly, and I'll bring down the camera so you can see what's going on. Right, I'm going to do this. Now, I don't want to touch it until I need to move it again. Just a quick reference, that's what the picture looks like, and that's what the doagon looks like, or should look like. Let's bring this camera down, turn it around, move it upside down, yes, and I'll flip that camera around a minute. Or you could be a pain in my ass like every fucking thing. Right. Give me a second. There we go. And there we go. One doagon. That's what it should look like. His tail and ears and all that. And I'll be painting this one off camera. But I will video it so you guys get to check it out. There's the ear over there. Like I said, I'm trying to make the ears clear the body so you'll be able to turn that head. But I think the ear is going to be quite fragile to turn. But we'll find out how it all works out. Once it's baked, I will post my findings and I will show you guys over on TikTok. But what do you think? Hopefully you like it. I can't really get around behind it, but there we are. Got the fluffy bits of the ears, got the hair done on the tail. Again, we did the tail with just scoring around it to make the sort of plating parts. Alexa, stop. And we're only at 50 minutes. So there we go. I do apologise once again. I haven't done TikTok today. I didn't feel up to it today, and I wanted to get this done without any being too stressed about it, because I knew the ears would stress me out. So I will be back again next Monday. I'll be back for some more, but until then I will be posting some videos about this, yeah, check them out, guys. Tune in again next time, and don't forget to hit that subscribe and hit the notifications so you know when that video will be out for the painting, because I am going to be painting in the same colours you can see there, and against the doagon from day one. Next week we're going to be doing the cyan bold cap. That one's going to be I'm going to be using magnets for that one, and yeah, I'll see you over on TikTok if I don't see you here. Thanks for watching, guys. My name once again is Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. You listen to Comic Storian, and this is the Doagon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.